Welcome, Janet Foy, to the main event.
Thank you very much. I've enjoyed being here.
This is your first time to Red Deer and to the main event.
Well, it's my first time to the main event. I was at Red Deer 3 years ago judging the Canadian Dressage Regionals.
And how have you been enjoying yourself since you've been here?
Well, I've enjoyed going through the trade fair, and I made a few purchases yesterday for some students for Christmas, and I've enjoyed meeting the other clinicians and watching some of their sessions as well.
Now, the main event prides itself in bringing the very best clinicians here, and you certainly rank up there with your credentials in dressage, but tell us about what those are.
Well, what I love to do the most is teaching, and I enjoy teaching my clinics. I enjoy teaching my judge training programs, and I do quite a few of those. The judging I also enjoy. I do a lot of the big CDI events. I judge around the world. I was in France in February, and I'll be in Germany in August. So I have been very blessed in that I've been able to see the world and see the best horses in the world as well. I think my judging, I enjoy that, but I enjoy teaching. The judging, you're able to give a score and you're able to give a comment that justifies the score, but with the teaching, you're really able to help the rider and help the horse achieve something else and really improve them. So that's my favorite thing to do. I've also written 2 books. My second book is now at the publisher, getting ready to come out. And my first book, Dressage for the Imperfect Horse, has been a bestseller on Amazon. It still is, and I hope anyone who hasn't read it will, because it's very informative and very helpful. It talks about my journey over the last 30 years, training horses of every breed and every size and every discipline. So I've enjoyed writing that. That's sort of a book about my life story.
Give me your opinion about dressage, where it is today, how you've seen it progress or not progress, as the case may be, over the past few years.
Well, I think there have been a lot of changes since I started judging in the 70s. Back then, we were told one mistake was a 4, and it didn't make much sense because that's not really very judgmental. I could teach my mother to do that. When Eric Letta came into the position of chair of the FEI Dressage Committee, he said that it was very important we take into account the quality of what happened before and after the mistake. And that's one of the reasons the scores have gone a little bit higher than they used to be, because we no longer just one mistake is a 4. We have to judge a little bit the quality of the horse. The quality is very important. We have to think of the horse as an athlete. That's an Olympic athlete. So the horse with the best quality and the best training should be our winner. That's what we're hoping for. However, a more average horse, if the training is better and the very expensive horse is making a lot of mistakes, then the horse with the best training is going to always come out on top. So I think the system of judging has changed. The dressage tests have changed. In the Grand Prix, for example, 5 movements have been deleted that used to be required back when I was riding Grand Prix, and a lot of those were difficult movements. So the scores have gone higher and higher, and of course the quality of horses improved. If you look at the conformation of the horses 30 years ago compared to what we see now, the more modern horses are much more refined, much more elastic, much hotter, have a much better gas pedal, and their front legs and their shoulders are totally different. They have a much, much longer forearm, and you get a very, very expressive front leg and the flying changes and the half passes. And some of the people can't get past that, and they keep saying, well, we always learned that the hind leg cannon bone and the front leg cannon bone always had to be at the same angle. And in the old days, yes, that was true, but in the modern horse, that's really impossible. The shoulders are so free that if you had a hind leg that matched that shoulder, it would be freaky, it would be strange. So judges have to a little bit look at how the hind legs are working, and mechanically, if those are working well and then the front legs are expressive, then it becomes the overall package. And certainly some horses are very expressive in front and the hind legs don't really work as they should. So it's important to look at the whole picture.
That's very interesting. Is that something you're trying to pass on to the riders in your clinics here?
Well, I tried yesterday. I've had one session so far where I talked about the conformation of my horses and how they were all very, very modern and how they did have a much more expressive front leg. So you try to make the point, but sometimes when you're teaching people new things, they have to hear it 5 or 6 times before they have that aha moment.
One question I like to ask clinicians is if there's one thing that you would like your riders to take away from your clinics here, what would that be?
That mistakes are not bad, that we all make mistakes. The horse will make a
Interesting.
mistake, the rider will make a mistake, the judge will make a mistake. And the riders need to look at that as a training opportunity and not as an opportunity to punish the horse. And many times the horse is making a mistake because they're trying to learn or trying to figure out what the rider wants. Many times the rider is asking incorrectly. And it breaks my heart in the show ring to see horses who are really, really trying and are very willing, and the rider is creating the problem, and yet the rider is punishing the horse with the whip or the spur. Mm-hmm. So that's my biggest hope, is that the riders get more and more educated so that they are more able to really communicate with their horses.
So where do you go after the main event? What's up next for you?
Next week I do a clinic in Madison, Wisconsin, where I've been going once a month for 10 years. So I travel almost every weekend. I'm lucky if I have one weekend a month off. I try to do my best, but sometimes some things come up and I just can't get that time at home. Looking forward to judging our selection trials in June, pick our World Equestrian Games team. I think that's going to be a very exciting time. I also, in May, I manage a CDI 3-star in Colorado in Estes Park. So we'll be bringing top horses to my state, and we have wonderful sponsors, a wonderful venue there at the bottom of the Rocky Mountain National Park. So I have a lot of different hats.
Thank you, Janet, and it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Thank you very much for inviting me.